go ahead and get started. Many of you know me. My name is Dan from Dan's Test Prep. And today on Tutor Tuesday, we're going to be going over digital SAT questions. But you're welcome to submit anything that's related to SAT, and I'll see if I have a chance to cover it. It's a mix of reading and math questions, so I'm just going to jump right into our first one. A little warm-up SAT problem for you all that I'm sure you guys will get before I'm even done saying this sentence. Let's check. Yeah, C17. But how do we get that? Well, function notation is just saying whatever's in this parentheses has to be replacing x. So instead of x, I'll put in 2, which is 2 cubed, plus 9, which is 8, plus 9, which is 17. Very nice warm-up problem. Powerpuff Girls. Maybe. Maybe that's where I got my inspiration. No, I didn't. Number 2, we've got a reading question. Anyone can't see it, let me know. I'll paste them in the chat as we go along. But this one is asking us to complete the text with a logical transition. So it says, with her room-sized installation, the interstitium, Iranian-American artist Lale Moran succeeded in creating a space that felt as intended, both familiar and distant. Blank. With a video screen placed at the far end of the coal slag encrusted room, her installation was reminiscent of a typical movie theater, albeit one found in a subterranean coal mine. So I'd say, based on that description, it's typical, but also there's a weird catch to it. It probably does become familiar and distant. It probably does match that kind of vibe. So here I would probably have to go with indeed to reaffirm or to emphasize that yes, it is familiar and distant. Based in chat, I got you. Here's our current one. Here's our next question. Actually, another transitions question. So funny how that works. Okay. In 1968, I'm gonna skim this. Congressman established a bill or introduced a bill to establish a national holiday in honor of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Didn't make it to a vote, but he was determined. He teamed up with Shirley, the first black woman to be elected to Congress, and they resubmitted the bill every session for the next 15 years. Blank, in 1983, the bill passed. Instead, sounds like an outcome that we weren't expecting or something contrary. I'm gonna rule that one out. Likewise is like similarly, but there's no similarities here. It seems more like a cause and effect here. So I'm gonna rule that one out. Finally, I think would work. It's like they've been doing this for 15 years, and finally, it passed in this year. That would be a good conclusion to this paragraph. So let's go with C for this one. Yep, you guys got it. Here's maybe a slightly harder reading question. Might actually have to do some logical reasoning here. So it's asking which finding, if true, would most directly weaken the underlined claim. Okay, I don't see any underlines, but maybe it doesn't mean like literally underlined. Anyways, in the 1970s, a roughly 60,000-year-old piece of hyena bone marked with 9 notches was discovered at a site in western France once inhabited by Neanderthals. There's our context. Although many believe that only modern humans developed systems for notating numbers, well, that seems redundant, but I get it. Notating numbers, one archaeologist asserts that this artifact may be a sign that Neanderthals also recorded numerical information. So there's kind of our claim, I think. The notches on the bone are unevenly spaced but approximately parallel, and microscopic analysis reveals that they were made with a single stone tool. According to the archaeologist, Okay, maybe this is our claim. This suggests that the notches are all made at one time by one individual as a means of counting something. Let's see. So this is meant as a means of counting something made by one person. Uh, if true, parallel lines are a common feature in modern humans' early systems for recording numerical information. I don't think that would maybe strengthen the claim. I think that's kind of what's being implied here as well. More than 9 approximately parallel notches made with a different stone tool are present on another artifact. I mean, that's just more counting. That's just counting to a number higher than 9. So no, I don't see how that would weaken the claim. It would have taken careful effort to make evenly spaced lines on bone with the stone tools typically used by Neanderthals. It doesn't mention anything about effort here, so I'm going to rule that one out. And decorative art discovered at another Neanderthal site in western France primarily features patterns of unevenly spaced parallel lines. Well, yeah, that would make sense, right? That would weaken our claim because if we are claiming this is for counting something, but then later discover it might actually be for decorative art, then that would weaken the claim that this is for counting. People could argue, yeah, this is made for decorative art, not counting. There we go. Yeah, that's the thing. They'll throw in those negatives on you, like weaken the claim instead of support, or which one of these is false. And then I kind of have to, like, when I get the true false questions, I literally write true and then I mark it because I'm so used to the affirmative. All right, now back to the math ones. I think this one might be too easy for you guys. Huh. No English, yeah. I know you guys love math. This one, I know I'm gonna swap over to my Discord tab. It's gonna be solved. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, the values of x could be, there's two values of x that would work here. If we want g of x, which is equal to x squared plus 9 to equal to 25, then what we'd get is x squared equals 25 minus 9. Well, x squared equals 16 means that x could be plus or minus 4 after we take the principal root, square root of that. Of the answer choices, that would lead us to answer choice A. And I gotta put in some harder math questions. I mean, this one's like a medium difficulty, I would say, but pretty formulaic, right? Certain elephant weighs 200 pounds at birth and gains more than 2, but less than 3 pounds per day during its first year. And then we want to find the inequality that represents all the possible weights in pounds for an elephant 365 days after birth. I mean, that the actual weight could be between 200 plus 2D, where D is 365, or 200 plus 3D. That, oh, like once we set up this inequality, you just have to evaluate the numbers. So 365 times 2 is going to be, dang, like 730. And W has to be between 365 times 3 is going to be, sorry guys, I'm trying to do it in my head. Like, it's 900 plus 180 is 1080 plus 15, so 1095. So once we simplify this, we get down to the weight being between 930 at the low range and 1295 on the high range. Yeah, you guys got D. Perfect. No, easy. I'll be sure to put in a real challenge for you next week. But here's our next question. Really? Yeah, I'll really put in a challenge for you guys. Scatterplots, I mean, scatterplots can't be too bad, right? it's when you're dealing with a scatter plot, it's almost like you're dealing with a line. It's just that like here, let me show you how I would do it. Um, I would just draw a line that kind of goes through most of the data, like this. And then based on that line, you could approximate the slope and a y-intercept. Because we're just trying to find or appropriate linear model for the data. So, I mean, it looks like it intercepts around 10, and it looks like the slope's about -1, right? Rise over run for this graph is -1. So I would say a valid equation for this could be like -x plus 10. Um, the only thing I see that's close to that is 9.4 minus 0.9x. That's gonna be D. Yeah, scatter plots are weird, but just make them into a line of best fit that you kind of wrote, and then it's a lot simpler. All right, next one, asking for the mean low temperature in degrees Fahrenheit during a 5-day period. Well, I think you guys know how to do this one. It's just a matter of who gets their calculator out first. And I'm going to do it on my calculator because I don't really feel like doing this out on a paper. But I'll show you the math that goes into it. Right, for mean or average, we're going to sum up all the numbers, divide by 5. And notice I'm focusing specifically on the low temperature row. That's 244 divided by 5 gives us 48.8. Calculators are banned in your country. Oh my. No, digital SAT, you get to use a calculator, which is the nice thing about it. Makes it a lot easier for you. But I mean, the math is right there if you did need to do it by hand. It's not too bad. All right, this one, Oliver, I'm sorry I'm making you do this one. But I think this was the first question in the whole SAT math section on one of the tests. Well, but like a lot of people can mess up these unit conversions, especially when they get a lot more complex or include a lot more elements. So just to be safe, when I'm dealing with a lot, like a big conversion, I write out the unit I'm given. I write out the conversions in between, and then I can cancel out the units to get to my, oh, whoa, those numbers are not right. Uh, cancel out the numbers to get to my final number. There's 132 teaspoons and 44 tablespoons. All right. Let's do next one. A study was conducted on the production rates for a company that produces tractor wheels. The table below shows the number of wheels it made during 11 consecutive 1-hour production periods. What is the range of the number of wheels made for the 11 1-hour periods? Okay, if they made a whole number of wheels, I don't see how their range could be a, a decimal number. It'd have to be an integer. Right, so right away you can eliminate A and C. 5? Let's see. Well, I think it's 5, right? Because the range is the highest number minus the lowest, which in this case is 24 minus 19, which would give us a range of 5. That's going to be B. Moving on. I don't know why they brought in more sig figs. Maybe to throw people off, because the SAT is like testing concepts that most people learn in school, but they have to test it in a weird way to, otherwise a lot of people would get everything right. Um, Next one is similar triangles. We have triangle ABC is similar to triangle DEF. Let me draw that out. Okay, reading ahead, I see angles C and F are right angles. So I'm gonna build a triangle that's ABC, the right angle at C, and DEF is similar. I notice that AB is longer than DE, so uh, DEF would look something like this. Well, A corresponds to D, angle C and F are right angles. So this is kind of our picture so far. Then the length of AB is 2.9 times the length of DE. This is 2.9 times this. This is like this is like X, and this is 2.9X. But that's not going to be relevant if we're talking about angle measures, right? It says the tangent of A is 21 over 20. Tangent of A is 21 over 20. That means the ratio of the opposite to the adjacent side. I'm going to write the values here. The opposite side is 20 and the adjacent side is, sorry, opposite side is 21, adjacent side is 20. That's not necessarily what the side lengths are. That's just the ratios. So forgive me. And then it's asking what the value of sine of D. Sine of D would be the ratio of the opposite side to the hypotenuse. Well, I think this is a thing. Actually, I'm not sure if this is a Pythagorean triple, but to find the length of the hypotenuse for this triangle, we're just going to use Pythagorean theorem, right? So the length of AB is equal to 21 squared plus 20 squared under the square root. So who's done that already? Who's done that math? Because I haven't. But I'm doing it right now. And the square root of 841 is 29. Okay, so it is a triple. If let's say these are the side lengths, this one is just a scaled down version of this, so the ratios of all the side lengths are going to be the same. Then sine of D is going to be the opposite of our hypotenuse. It's just going to be 21 over 29. I mean, I don't literally need to scale this. Although if I did, this would be like 10, this would be like 21 over 2.9 and 20 over 2.9. I'm not going to evaluate that because it's going to be ugly, and I prefer to work with the integers. Let's see, 21 over 29. Yep. Yeah, you guys got it. Yeah, sine of A is equal to sine of D, so like we don't really need to use a scale factor. And I got another reading question here. I think it's my last reading or last SAT question. No, I've got two more. Okay. Reading question. We want the most logical and precise word or phrase. Let's see. When Mexican-American archaeologist Zelia Maria Magdalena Tal published her 1886 research paper on sculptures found at the ancient indigenous city of Teotihuacan, oh man, Teotihuacan, I'm sorry, in present-day Mexico, other researchers readily blank her work as groundbreaking. Yeah, notice when I read these in my head, I actually skip a lot of these words. Sorry you guys had to hear that. This recognition stemmed from her convincing demonstration that the sculptures were much older than had been previously thought. Uh, so if it was convincing, I would say the researchers probably agreed or congratulated her on her groundbreaking work. They said, yeah, this is definitely groundbreaking. So acknowledged would probably work. Ensured, denied, underestimated. I would say we can skip denied, right? That's just doesn't fit with the context. Underestimated, probably not, doesn't fit with the context. Really, I would say acknowledged makes the most sense. Like people understood this and they said, yes, this is definitely groundbreaking. Ensured means they like went above and beyond to prove that this was groundbreaking. We get A? Yeah, nice. I don't know, maybe we'll do this one as our last problem here. I'll paste that in there. Um, okay. Yeah, actually, that looks really interesting. I have two more problems, and then let's do that. I guess I'll call it our challenge problem. This one was from our SAT question of the day today. But I wanted to explain it. So let's go through. It says first of all, we're looking for the main idea before I even start reading. Main idea. NASA's Cassini probe has detected an unusual wobble in the rotation of Mimas, Saturn's smallest moon. Using a computer model to study Mimas's gravitational interactions with Saturn and tidal forces, geophysicist Alyssa Rodin and her colleagues have proposed that this wobble could be due to a liquid ocean moving beneath the moon's icy surface. The researchers believe other moons should be examined to see if they too might have oceans hidden beneath their surfaces. Um, okay. It doesn't say that they were the first to do this. It doesn't say that it's failed to identify signs. It suggests that there might be signs. Um, it doesn't really say that they created a new computer model, and so I would just say they revealed an oddity in the rotation, or the unusual wobble, could be explained or could be due to a liquid ocean. I mean, yeah, that's like directly in the passage. For some of these easier reading questions, that will be the case. Yeah, I know you guys already know the answer. Um, this one, not you guys. This one's too simple for you. This next one, right? The is basically asking for the y-intercept when x equals 0. So we plug in x equals 0. We get 2y equals 18. Or divide by 2 to get y equals 9. Easy. Ah, you got that. All right, no, this is the fun one. This looks like a challenge because you'd probably never get this on your SAT, but I feel like it's just like, well, I don't know, maybe I'm being naive, but I feel like it's somewhere a little bit above SAT level, but a lot of the same skills, right? You have all these kind of geometry problems on the SAT. The first thing I would do with this type of problem is just fill in all the missing angles, right? So if I have a 60 here and 50 here, that adds up to 110. I know that all the angles in a triangle have to add up to 180, so I can fill out the 70 degrees of this triangle and its vertical angle. It will be on the digital SAT. All right. All right, let's see about that. I just signed up to take it actually. Um, okay. Next, what do we got? Uh, I know that this right here, this circle has to be 360 degrees. And if I subtract off the 140 that I already have, then let me just do my scratch work over here. 360 minus a 40 is like 220. 220 divided by 2 will give us 110. I feel like I saw something similar on the SAT actually. Yeah, I can sign up for it. The reason I'm doing it is because I'm a tutor. So I want to make sure, I know my stuff when I'm teaching my students. But it's kind of weird, right? Not like I'm gonna send a score to any colleges. Um, what we got next? 30, 110. This right here is, so this is 140 plus 40 should give us to 180. This should be 130 plus 50 should get us to 180. This angle right here in the top, I'm gonna get because this adds up to 80. This adds up to 80. In total, that's 160. Then this angle A should be 20 degrees. Oh man, what have we got? Um, I know that I could get, let's see, I could set, let me do it in a different color. This kind of angle right here, angle F, that could be a variable. The one in angle E could be a variable. We have angle X as a variable. And then this one right here can be represented as a variable or in terms of the other variables that I already made. And anybody who can't see, I'm going to paste in the intermediate work so far. 99% can't solve this. Oh my gosh. I hope that I'm gonna be one of the 1%. Otherwise, you guys are gonna have to help me out. But yeah, I see that I could construct a few equations here. Like let's focus on this inner triangle first. That one tells us that x plus 70 plus, and in this angle right here, I'm gonna represent in an interesting way. I'm gonna call this 180 minus 50 minus y. So that becomes what, like 130 minus y, right? Um, so x plus 70 plus 130 minus y equals 180. What's our next equation? I'm gonna do this inner triangle right here. It says that y, do a different color. Y plus z plus 20 is also equal to 180. Well, since I have three variables, I need another equation here. And what I could do is this bottom row right here, x plus z plus 40 equals 180. Right? We're not just going to utilize the triangles, but also the fact that any angles lying on a straight line must sum up to 180. So it's just a system of three equations, and I already see that I can simplify the top one. Like this could become x plus y, or sorry, x minus y, and then this groups up to 200, but that I can move to the other side and become negative 20. X minus y equals negative 20. Then I get y plus z equals 160. And I get x plus z equals 140. I guess I probably could have equated like some of the 180s to each other, like this equated to this, but I think canceling it out might make it a little bit easier for us. For example, I could get, if I got my y's to cancel out, that wouldn't be very helpful. So let's take a look. Uh, keep going. X is equal to, okay, well, what I might do is just substitute X equal to, so from this top equation, let's call this number 1. Equation number 1. From 1, we can get X is equal to Y minus 20. Then we substitute that into the bottom equation, let's say, like sub into equation 3, and we get Y minus 20 plus Z. Oh no, I see where this is going. Because that would give us Y plus Z equals 160. We already have that equation. Something suspicious is going on here, huh? Something suspicious. Maybe I see why this is 99% of people can't solve. We'll wait to see the answer. So I guess that substituting in some numbers here might give us a little bit of intuition into this problem. Maybe if X is like, I mean, X to me looks kind of like it's like 20 degrees. Whoops. Erase that. I need to substitute some numbers to get some intuition here. We said X equals to 20 degrees. Z would have to be equal to X is 20. Z would have to be equal to 120. And Y would have to be equal to 40. Then this would be 130 minus 40 is 90. 40, 120. Why would that not work? Doesn't look like a 90-degree angle. Maybe it's like 25 degrees or something. Or maybe I'm missing some kind of equation here. Overthinking? Oh no. Yeah, give me a hint. Give me a hint. We've got it almost all filled out here. Has to do with 180. Okay. And we've kind of got the 180 situation here already. Nah, what is this guy saying? 180 minus 40. Then form your equation. Hmm. Trying to trick me. Like the SAT. All right, all right. And 180 minus 40 would give us x plus z, but we already have that equation right here. Y plus z equal to 160. And then those three angles right here have to add up to 180 as well. Um, mm, okay, I see. Maybe my, actually, I'm not sure. Ah, I'm missing something, huh? Where did you get GF and GE are equal? I don't know. Is that true? If you put G right here, because the angles are different. — 40 plus x equals 70. Now, where did you get that? No. No, the explanation is confusing me a little bit more. Anyways, um, make an equilateral triangle somehow. No, I don't see if we can make an equilateral triangle. I see we can make an isosceles triangle with these two sides, but I'm not really sure that helps me much. But yeah, maybe there's some kind of property we haven't considered. This problem is a tricky snake. Yeah, I think so. So your answer was x equals 30, right? From the glance. I'll take one more look at it, and then we'll call it a night. Definitely deceiving. Um, oh, I thought it was SAT level. Anyway, we labeled all these angles. I'm guessing that I could try to make another equation, but it probably wouldn't help me very much. And maybe one of these equations is linearly dependent on one of the others, and that's why it keeps my system of equations keeps breaking apart. It was 30. Okay. Let's call it that. X equals 30. Then y would have to be what, 50? And z would have to be 110. Stuck on x plus z part. Yeah, that's very close. I mean, I see maybe one more equation I could form, but I feel like it's not gonna be very useful because I'm just gonna add all of these up and say like x plus z plus um no, x plus z plus 40 plus 30-degree angle plus no, that would just give me more constants. 180 minus 40 divided by 2 equals 70. Yeah, I don't know how you got that. 180 minus 40 divided by 2 equals 70. See, 180 minus 40 is this. Divided by 2, I'm not sure why we do that. Yeah, I think so. Now I'm gonna stop the recording. I